It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. Today, two outstanding middle schools playing our game. Let's meet them now. Let's go first to Ernest Just Middle School and say hello to the first of our contestants today, Nathaniel Milam, Marlon Campbell, and Anthony Harris. And from John Hanson Elementary School, we say hello to Deja Rogers, Everett Richmond, and Julian Nelson. Now here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10 points, the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. At the end of the 2 rounds today, we will have a competitor for James Madison for the chance to move on to become the third of the 4 semifinalists in this year's middle school competition. So a lot at stake. Let's go over and make sure everything works properly. Boy, the red team is ready and raring to go. They've all got their hands on the buzzer. Try it for me. All right, thank you, Marlon. Good luck to you, Nathaniel, and to Anthony. And Everett, would you try yours on the green team? Thank you, young man. Good luck to you and to Deja and to Julian. Are we ready to play?
Yes.
Let's do this. We're proud of you guys for being here representing your schools. You're all great ambassadors. May the better team win. We go alphabetically E before J. So Marlon, start us out. Give me a category and a number. Let's play the bowl.
We'll take green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, this P-initialed conifer is the source of wood for many small coffins. Ernest Just.
Pine tree.
A pine tree, a pine coffin, a simple coffin. Yes, indeed. Go red.
What do you think we should do? Zoo Parade for 15.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. Teams, the artist who drew the cartoon characters Rocky and Bullwinkle died recently. I'll give you 15 points if you can tell me Rocky, who was a rodent, and Bullwinkle, who was an ungulate. Either one, what real animals were they? John Hanson.
Cow.
Not a cow. No, Rocky was a rodent and Bullwinkle was an ungulate. Can you tell me who either of them were? What kinds of animals?
Rat or mouse. A rat or a mouse?
Rocky was a squirrel and Bullwinkle was a moose. Try again, red.
Science Potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, the fish called the coelacanth, which was long thought to have been extinct, was discovered not too long ago to still be living in the Indian Ocean. He predates the dinosaur, which means this fish is known as a living what? A living what, John Hanson?
Fossil.
Fossil is right, yeah. Julian just beat up on Everett over there. He said, you better push that thing, and you got it right. Good. Green, tie score, 65 all.
Zoo Parade for 25.
Zoo Parade for 25, the big one in that category. Teams, you can lure a moth to a flame, but if you want to lure insects to a trap, you would bait that trap. Ernest Just?
Light.
Not light, no. John Hanson, if you were trying to attract other insects, not just moths, to a trap, you would bait that trap with what kind of P-initialed chemical that is exuded by insects to attract the opposite sex, John Hanson?
Pheromone.
Pheromone, that's what I want to hear for 25 points. Good. Good comeback. Go.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems, 10 points. Teams, to propose marriage, a guy needs a good patella because he's got to go down on one what? John Hanson?
Knee.
One knee, that's it. If he's doing it right, go green.
Science Potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, in The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy's slippers are ruby. But in the book, The slippers are made of what? Ernest Just.
Diamond.
Not diamonds, no. In the book, those slippers are made of what second most common precious metal?
Silver.
Silver. Her slippers were silver. Yes, good. Go green.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams. Since sea animals will not eat anything made of tanned leather, these artifacts worn by the victims of the Titanic are still on the bottom of the ocean untouched. What are they? Yes, Ernest Just.
Hide. Pass it to Anthony.
Anthony.
Cowhide.
Cowhide? No. What were these people wearing made of tanned leather? John Hanson.
Boots.
Yes, we will take boots or shoes. Boots or shoes. Absolutely good. Green.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Look at the monitor in the studio, please, teams. Teams, these insects are thousands of years old. They were stuck in amber, absolutely right. Tree resin, which then hardened into the amber, which is so familiar to all of us from those Jurassic Park movies with the mosquito trapped inside with the DNA and the dinosaur blood. Go green.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, listen carefully. In order to detect bombs on airplanes that are sometimes inside of steel containers, the only kind of ray that can get...
X-rays?
Not X-rays, no good try. X-rays can't get through steel, but these kinds of rays can. They are named for the third letter in the Greek alphabet. What kind of rays are they?
Gamma rays?
Gamma rays, absolutely right. I could hear Julian going through alpha, beta, gamma. That's it, good. Gamma rays can get through steel to detect any kinds of potential bombs in the hold of cargo planes. Go green.
Green things for 10.
Green things, 10 points, teams. The blade of a leaf and the back of your hand both contain what kinds of vessels? You may answer. Ernest Just?
Capillaries. Capillaries?
No, not capillaries. Good try. John Hanson, the blade of a leaf and the back of your hand both contain what kinds of vessels?
Veins.
Veins, yes. The veins in a leaf and the veins in the back of your hand. The buzzer is rung. Boy, that was a quick first half. 65 for Ernest Just, 160 for John Hanson. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away. And welcome back to the second half of Science Bowl. Nice to have you with us here in our silver anniversary year in Prince George's County Public Schools. We have 6 fine players here today, a couple of whom you might remember because they've been here before. Let's go first to Ernest Just Middle School and welcome Nathaniel and Marlon and Anthony again. Marlon, nice to see you back again. You're now an 8th grader wearing the blue shirt instead of the purple ones, as your 2 7th grade comrades are doing there. Tell me about your school. First of all, who's your principal?
Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter. I know he's a great supporter of Science Bowl, and we appreciate all his backing. Who's the sponsor of your team?
Miss Nelson.
Miss Nelson. She has been here in the past helping us judge the game, and she's an excellent sponsor, and I know she put in a lot of time to get you guys ready for today. Marlon, did you have any alternates on your team?
Yes, we had Alfonso, we had Janina, and Kayla.
All right, and if they're here, we're going to bring them out in just a few moments. Kind of a shadow team back there. Marlon, tell us about yourself. What do you do in your spare time?
I enjoy playing the alto saxophone, and I read a book about astronomy. It's titled All of Astronomy.
All of Astronomy. And you hope to be an astronomer of some note, a cosmologist, correct? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And young man has his own telescope. Of all that you've seen in the heavens, what has impressed you most?
The moon.
The moon. So close, 240,000 miles, but in a telescope it looks like you can reach out and touch it. Anthony, nice to have you here. You've been trying so hard in that first round. You're going to get them yet. I like how you play the game. You seem like you're having a good time. Tell us about yourself. What do you do in your spare time? Anthony?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. What do you like to do? Are you involved in sports?
Yeah, I play basketball.
Uh-huh. Very good.
And sometimes I like do web designing, and I like to read books a lot.
Wow. And reading books is such a good indicator of success on Science Bowl and indeed in life. Tell me what you want to do when you get older.
want to be a business executive of my own self-founded technology company.
Wow, an American entrepreneur. You're going to be one of the big ones like Bill Gates someday, huh? We'll keep our eye out. Nathaniel, nice to have you here. We talked earlier, and he said he didn't think Science Bowl was going to be so much fun until he got involved in it. Do you still like it?
Yes.
We love having you here. Tell me about what else you do in your spare time.
I like to read a book, I like to draw, and I also like to go bowling.
Go?
Bowling.
Bowling. Ah, what's your best game?
263.
Whoa, you 236. That beats me by a country mile. Do you bowl 10 pins?
Yes.
The big ones. Very good. All right. What do you want to do someday?
I would like to become a software engineer.
Software engineer. All right. Good ambition there. Talk to John Hanson. And Everett, nice to have you back with us again as an 8th grader. Tell people about yourself. I know you want to be a zoologist.
Yes.
And tell me why you got interested in that.
Well, my father got me into Animal Planet, and I enjoy animals, and I like learning facts about them, and I enjoy reading books about animals.
Wonderful. Yeah, Animal Planet never ceases to amaze, some of the photography that they get there. And I know there's some controversy about nature programs staging some of those things, but for the most part, what you see is actually what happens. Tell me first, before we go any farther, tell us about John Hanson. Who's your principal?
Our school is split into 2 programs, the French Immersion and the Montessori program. On the Montessori side, we have Miss Chappelle, and on the French Immersion side, we have Dr. Osama.
Wonderful. And who's the sponsor of your team? I think you had 2 sponsors.
Yes, we have Mr. Diarra and Miss Morales.
Wonderful. And tell me about any alternates on your team.
We have Hannah, Samara, Katie, and Rochelle.
All right, we'll bring all of them out in just a few moments as well. Tell me about what you do in your spare time.
I enjoy building things out of Legos and watching TV.
Watching TV, all right. You're a great player. You have a lot of discipline and great stage presence. Good to have you back. Deja, nice to have you with us today. This young lady who seems to do everything. You're into sports and music and academics. Give us some specifics.
I like to draw, I like to write, I like to read, I like to play basketball, play kickball, play volleyball.
So you're mentally fit and physically fit, it sounds like. Good to have you on the show. What do you want to do? I think you want to be, did you want to be a doctor?
I want to be a vet.
A vet, that's right, because you take care of all kinds of animals. Mostly dogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope you're enjoying yourself today. And Julia, nice to have you here. Young man who has some very definite plans for his life. Tell us about him.
Well, I want to graduate college first, but to do that I have to graduate high school. Then I want to go on to become a physicist and a biological engineer.
Wonderful. And you're heavily involved in sports. You told me you're a shot putter.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know that we've had, you've got the bulk for it. I can see that. When did you start?
About 4 years ago, I believe.
What other sports do you play?
I play football, currently involved in that.
Very good. Nice to have you on our program here. Let's get back to the game. Right now, John Hanson has a wide lead, 160-65 for Ernest Just, but we have lots of points to give away to steal anybody's game. Our last great answer came from the green team, so Everett, start us out.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25. The big one in that category, teams, particle accelerators, where protons can be zipped along, sometimes can go as fast as 99% of the speed of light. The speed of light is how many miles per second? Ernest Just.
1 million.
Not 1 million. How fast does light travel, John Hanson?
180,000 miles per hour.
Ooh, 186,000. 186,000. Close. We can't give you the points, though. Try again, green.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points, teams. The reason why you should put your vegetables in the crisper in the refrigerator is because the amount of water vapor in the air in there is different from the refrigerator as a whole. What term do we use to refer to as the amount of water vapor in the air? What term, Marlon?
Humidity?
You got it. That's what I want to hear. Good. Humidity it is. Go, red.
We'll take green things for 25.
Green things for 25, teams. A Corolla is a car. Toyota makes the Corolla. But botanically speaking, the Corolla is the collective term for what parts of the plant? No takers. The petals. The group of petals is known as the Corolla. Try again, red.
Yes, sir. Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, DNA can be extracted from all human cells except for one kind because they have no nuclei. For 25 points, name those cells for me. Ernest Just.
It's not a cell.
What kinds of cells are they?
Virus.
Yes, sir?
Bacterial cells.
Not bacterial cells, no. Body cells now. What kind of body cells are the only ones that lack nuclei and hence cannot be a source of DNA? John Hanson.
Blood cell? Red blood cells?
You got it, absolutely right. The erythrocytes that are constantly reproduced in the marrow, no nuclei, 25 points. Thank you, Julian, for that very timely assist there. Go, green.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, what M-initialed greenhouse gas is released by rotting vegetation? Marlon?
Methane.
Methane, yes, and is the primary constituent of cow flatulence. I didn't even need to get that far. Go, red.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline for 25 points. Teams, pet frogs have now been tagged as passing along this kind of bacterium, the same kind that used to be associated with pet turtles. Marlon?
Fungi.
Not fungi. Know what kind of bacterium now associated with pet frogs that had long been associated with pet turtles?
Warts.
Salmonella. Salmonella is the bacterium. Try again, red. 110. You're 75 behind. You can still do this. Marlon, where next?
Choose one for 20.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, frost kills plants because the frozen water bursts what part of the plant's cells? Ernest Just.
The cell wall.
The cell wall. That's what I want to hear. Good. Go.
Zooparade for 20.
Zooparade for 20 points. Seems a multiple choice question. Which of the following animals would be considered an avian nocturnal predator? I didn't even give the choices. Marlon, what did you want to tell me?
I was thinking bats.
Not a bat, no. Here are the choices. Which of these is an avian nocturnal predator, John Hanson? A black-footed ferret, a red-shouldered hawk, a barn owl.
Barn owl?
Barn owl, absolutely right. An avian is a bird, nocturnal, a night predator. Good. Green.
Zooparade for 10 points.
Zooparade for 10 points. Teams, we human beings share 98% of our DNA with what simians? Marlon.
What is it? Chimpanzees. Chimpanzees.
Chimpanzees is absolutely right. Good. Go. Red.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems, 20 points. Teams, eating too much candy leads to tooth decay. A lot of people have always believed that, but one time in our history, too much candy was thought to cause this neurological disease that Jonas Salk cured with his vaccine. All right, John Hanson.
Polio.
That's exactly right. Polio it was. Good. Go. Green.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Multiple choice question. Teams, hawks and eagles can see 10 times better than we can because they have 4 instead of 2 of these areas in the eye where vision is most acute. Is it the retina? Not the retina. No, Ernest Just. Which of these 3 areas of the eye provides the most acute vision? The retina, the cornea, or the fovea? Hawks have 4 of them. We have 2.
Cornea.
Fovea, the one neither of you chose, the fovea centralis. Go again, please. Green.
Dateline science for 20 points.
Dateline for 20 points. Look at the monitor, please, in the studio. Teams, the man standing next to the rocket Nell was the first liquid-powered rocket to rise up. It crashed 2.5 minutes later, but it was the first ever. Is this Chuck Yeager, Neil Armstrong, or Robert Goddard? Marlon.
Robert Goddard.
It is Robert Goddard, for whom our flight center is named, and we also have a middle school name for him. Go red.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical, 15 points. Teams, what halogen chemical is sometimes added to city water to prevent tooth decay? Ernest Just.
Fluoride.
It is fluoride, absolutely right. Some controversy about that. Thank you, Anthony. Go red.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, your answer is as follows. Your question is as follows. A blue moon is when 2 of these kinds of moons occur in a single month. John Hanson.
New moon?
Not a new moon. 2 of what kind of moon occurring in a single month is known as a blue moon, Marlon?
Full.
A full moon it is. Yes, indeed. Good. Go.
Dateline for 10 science.
Dateline for 10 points, teams. These celestial bodies that orbit between Mars and Jupiter sometimes approach Earth and threaten a collision with us. Ernest Just.
Asteroids.
Asteroids is right. There's my astronomer coming through. Go.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points, teams. A genealogist's diagram is sometimes called a family what? John Hanson.
Tree.
A tree, a family tree. Yes, good. Go.
Zoo parade for 5 points.
Zoo parade for 5 points, teams. What cartoon amphibian who went by the name of Mister took a wild ride in Wind in the Willows? Yes.
Frog.
Not a frog. Good try. Ernest Just.
Toad.
What amphibian?
Toad.
Mr. Toad. That's right. Good. Go. Used to be a ride at Disney.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems, 5 points, teams. If someone is trying to make you go faster, they say, would you please shake a what? Shake a what, John Hanson?
Tail feather.
A what?
Tail feather.
No. What's the phrase? Move fast. Shake a what, Marlon?
Leg.
Shake a leg. That's right. Good. Where, Red?
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points, teams. A new species of parrot was recently found in the Amazon, and like our national symbol, seems to be missing feathers on its head, so it too is...
Bald.
Bald, that's right. Let's get physical for 5 to end our game. Teams, what celestial body is smack dab in the middle of the Japanese flag? John Hanson.
The sun.
The rising sun, and that's the end of our game. John Hanson, it looks like you've done it after a very spirited competition with Ernest Just. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away. And welcome back. When we were off camera, one of the judges said it all. She just congratulated the teams for just a super game. It was that, and I am so happy that all of our players were here today. They're all fine ambassadors for their schools. Look at the final tally today. Ernest Just 205, John Hanson 240. Congratulations, green team. Deja and Everett and Julian. Nice game. We'll see you in the next round. And Mr. Diarra, Miss Morales, thank you for being such wonderful sponsors. And would you please wave as we call your names, Samira and Katie and Hannah and Rochelle, the shadow team back there. Let's see some big smiles here. You guys played a super game. Nathaniel and Marlon and Anthony and Ernest Just. And wave, please, Sarah Bohr and Kayla and Janina and Alfonso and Miss Nelson. Thank you for all your work. We loved having you guys. We loved having you as well. See you next time on More Science Bowl. Bye-bye now.